Hello and welcome back. You're now watching the breaking news show on CNN News 18 and I'm Sakshi Singh. Literally over the next 30 minutes, we'll be bringing you all the top headlines from the nation and across the globe. And at the top of this segment, we are beginning straight away with Modi 3.0. Prime Minister-elect Narendra Modi met President Draupadi Murmu and staked claim to form the NDA government at the centre yesterday. Modi, while addressing the media, said that he is honoured to be chosen by the NDA as the leader and looks forward to forming a stable government at the centre. Now, he's all set to take oath as the Prime Minister for a historic third term tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. And top sources have told CNN News 18 that nearly 15 spots in the Union Council of Ministers could go to NDA allies as the BJP top brass began discussions with the partners. Sources, in fact, had said that BJP wants to keep the top ministries, including Home, External Affairs, Defence and Finance with them. TDP and JDU, the two most crucial NDA partners, may also get cabinet berths in the government.
साथियों, मेरा बहुत सौभाग्य है कि एनडीए के नेता के रूप में आप सब साथियों ने सर्वसम्मति से चुन करके मुझे एक नया दायित्व दिया है और इसके लिए मैं आपका बहुत बहुत आभारी हूं। आज जब आप मुझे फिर से एक बार ये दायित्व देते हैं, इसका मतलब है कि हम दोनों के बीच हम आपस में विश्वास का सेतु इतना मजबूत है।
And some big updates now coming in straight from the NDA sources, which has revealed to us that possible names for the cabinet berths from allies could be these. From Andhra Pradesh, Ram Mohan Naidu, JDS's HD Kumaraswamy, Anupriya Patel from Apna Dal, Jayant Chaudhary from RLD, Chirag Paswan from LJP, and from NCP, Praful Patel, Sunil Tadkare from JDU. There are a couple of more names in this particular list. This is the word that we have received from NDA sources as far as the list in Modi 3.0 cabinet is concerned. These are some of the possible names. Big names coming in from Andhra Pradesh is Ram Mohan Naidu from JDS's Kumaraswamy is also there in the list. Anupriya Patel from Apna Dal Secular, Jayant Chaudhary from RLD is also there. Chirag Paswan can in fact grab something big. He comes from LJP, and if we were to talk about the list that has been given by the NCP, we are learning that couple of names in that particular list are Praful Patel, Sunil Tadkare from JDU, Lallan Singh, Sanjay Kumar Jha, Ramnath Thakur, who is also the son of Karpuri Thakur, Sunil Kumar, who belongs to the Kushwaha community, Kaushalendra Kumar Kurmi, fourth time MP, Hindustan Awam Morcha, and Jitan Ram Manji. These are a couple of names in this very crucial list that we have received. All right, so we have a series of reporters joining us on the broadcast. We have got Harish live joining us from Karnataka, Swastika joining us from Andhra Pradesh, Brij Mohan Singh from Bihar, and Aman Sharma also on the broadcast. Good morning to all of you. Harish, straight up first coming to you, the big names popping out from... All right, first let's take question from Aman Sharma. Aman, this is a big word now coming in from NDA sources. The list is pretty long. These are a couple of names, some very important faces. We are learning Chirag Paswan can actually grab something big. Tell us more, what is the word that you have received from your sources?
Well, yes, we are reporting since morning today that 12 to 15 berths in the Union Council of Ministers could go to the allies in the NDA, while the top four ministries, the Raisena held ministries, Home, Defence, MEA, Finance, could still be with the BJP. They want to keep this. They will be keeping it. The key ones are also close to the Modi 3.0 agenda, Railways, IT, Education, Law Ministry, may also stay with the BJP. What we're hearing from the allies is that the TDP, with 16 seats, with 16 MPs, could get one cabinet and at least two MOS posts. A name front-runner from the TDP is Mr. K. Ram Mohan Naidu. He's the three-time MP from Srikulam. He has won this time as well. He's one of the senior-most faces of the TDP. He's in the running from the JDU, which has won 12 seats. It may get one cabinet and one or two MOSs posts. Lallan Singh, a senior leader of the JDU and aide of Nitish Kumar, is also expected to be one of the ministers in the Council of Ministers. the LJP, Chirag Paswan, who has won 5 seats. Chirag Paswan himself could become a minister, union cabinet minister. His father, the late Ramvilas Paswan, was also a cabinet minister, food and public distribution and consumer affairs. Chirag Paswan could also become a minister. The RLD, which has won 2 seats, Jayant Chaudhary is set to become a union council minister. He may become a full cabinet minister or a minister of state with independent charge. We are hearing Shiva Sena. Eknath Shinde, who's won 7 seats. The top name from Shinde's camp is Srirang Barne, who's again won a Lok Sabha election. This time, he's also one of the senior leaders and close aides of Mr. Eknath Shinde. He could be in the running to become a minister from the NCP camp. Though the NCP has won only 1 seat, Ajit Pawar's camp, Praful Patel, who's an existing Rajya Sabha MP, could be in the running to become an MP again, to a minister in the union. Sunil Tatkare's name is also doing the rounds in that. JDS, which has 2 MPs, Mr. M. Kumaraswamy's name seems the front runner to join the Council of Ministers as a full-time MP. So these are all the names. Mr. Jan Kalyan Party, Mr. Pawan Kalyan's party. One of them is expected for them also. Apna Dal, HAM, Anupriya Patel, Jitin Ram Manji. All these names are doing the rounds. Of course, there is no confirmation so far because discussions are still ongoing, and we'll only know maybe by tomorrow morning a finality on which are the names. But these are all the names, Sakshi, which are doing the rounds of the power corridors of Delhi on who could be a part of the Union Council of Ministers. At least 12 to 15 members of these berths could go to the NDA allies.
Definitely. Aman, please stay with us. From Bihar, Brijmohan Singh is also joining us live on the broadcast. Brijmohan जी, हमें बताइए कि अपने सूत्रों के अनुसार आपने क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट की है, अगर बात जानी जाए जेडीयू के बारे में कि पॉसिबली कौन सी मिनिस्ट्री उनके हाथ में जा सकती है जेडीयू के पास, क्योंकि कुछ डिमांड्स तो दी हैं उन्होंने भी।
साक्षी, जब बिहार की बात करते हैं तो कास्ट बैलेंस की बात करते हैं, ये देखना बहुत जरूरी होता है कि कितने आप अगड़े समाज से लेते हैं, कितने पिछड़े समाज से। जो जानकारी हमें मिली है सूत्रों से इस वक्त, वो आपको बता दूं कि 2-3 नाम जो प्रोमिनेंट नाम है, राजीव रंजन उर्फ ललन सिंह, जो मुंगेर से एमपी चुन के अभी आए हैं और राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष भी रह चुके हैं जदयू के, उनका नाम सबसे ऊपर आ रहा है। और अभी जानकारी ये मिली है कि कुछ देर पहले वो मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार से मिलने के लिए गए हैं। दूसरा एक महत्वपूर्ण नाम जिसकी चर्चा भी अमन ने भी की है, वो नाम है रामनाथ ठाकुर का। वो नाम इसलिए भी इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि ही सन ऑफ कर्पूरी ठाकुर, द फॉर्मर चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ बिहार, जिनको कुछ लोकसभा से कुछ दिनों पहले, कुछ हफ्ते पहले उनको भारत रत्न दिया गया। 2-3 नाम जो इंपॉर्टेंट है। एक और नाम जिसकी चर्चा मैं करना चाहूंगा वो है सुनील कुमार, वाल्मीकि नगर से एमपी चुन के आए हैं और कुशवाहा समाज से हैं। इस बार इसलिए भी जरूरी है कुशवाहा समाज को एडजस्ट करना क्योंकि उनका रोल इस बार लोकसभा में काफी महत्वपूर्ण रहा है। आप चिराग पासवान की बात कर रहे थे, डेफिनेटली चिराग पासवान काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है। 100% उनका स्ट्राइक रेट रहा है, 5 में से 5 सीटें उन्होंने जीती हैं। लेकिन जो सूचना ये मिल रही है कि उनको कोई बड़ा कैबिनेट बर्थ मिल सकता है। हालांकि उनकी पार्टी की तरफ से कोई डिमांड नहीं है कि हमें ये बर्थ दिया जाए, लेकिन ये इंपॉर्टेंट है कि वो लॉयल है प्रधानमंत्री को लेके। जो भी प्रधानमंत्री की तरफ से डिसीजन होगा उसमें बहुत ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता।
I think we lost Brijmohan over there. We'll try to get a word of that also, but let's try to talk about the picture that is being played out in the state of Karnataka as well. Harish for that is with us on the broadcast. Harish, now coming to you, I was just talking about the crucial names popping out from your state at the moment. HD Kumaraswamy, what's up for grabs for him?
Well, although the JDS makes it very clear that they haven't put forth any specific demand as such, they are saying that we are hoping that the Prime Minister and the government will understand that we are a party that largely has its voter base in the rural areas. So we will be given a portfolio that is somewhere linked to agriculture or allied sector. That's what they're hoping right now. They're also hoping that Kumaraswamy will be given a heavy-duty portfolio because the JDS-BJP alliance here in Karnataka has really helped the BJP in several seats. Seats like some of the seats that we have seen, for example, Chitradurga, just around 30-40,000 lead that the BJP has managed to win. So in those seats, many believe that this alliance has worked for the BJP. They've ensured they've won more seats because of JDS contributing, and vice versa in seats like Mandya and other places where the BJP has successfully transferred votes. So they want to continue continue this alliance and want to ensure that they can corner the Congress. And that's the reason many believe that Kumaraswamy will be given a heavy-duty portfolio. That's what they're expecting. We'll have to see if he will get agriculture, because the demand, similar demand has come from JDU and TDP as well, is what we are understanding. So it's a tightrope walk when, as far as allocating portfolio is concerned, but the JDS making it very clear that at no point in time are we placing a demand or are we blackmailing anyone here.
All right, Harish, please stay with us. Let's go to Andhra Pradesh. Swastika is joining us live on the broadcast as well. Swastika, very good morning to you. Earlier, the word that came in straight from your state was that what Chandrababu Naidu is eyeing for is a heavy amount allotted for the particular state. But right now, the crucial names coming out from your state as well, as far as the ministry is concerned and the cabinet is concerned. Tell us more. What is the word that you have received from your sources?
Well, the TDP is certainly targeting one cabinet ministry and two MOS portfolios, and the front runner is of course three-time TDP MP from Srikakulam, Ram Mohan Naidu. His father, Aaron Naidu, was also a union minister, and he is somebody who is being considered as a front runner because A, he's a close confidant of Chandrababu Naidu, and more so enough, his family has been in the field of politics for years now, and he's somebody who's considered as someone who has good connect in the political circle. So definitely Ram Mohan Naidu emerging as a front runner from the TDP side. What portfolio is it going to be? That's going to be an interesting thing to watch out for. But definitely Mr. Naidu is keeping his cards close to his chest. But definitely the portfolios that the TDP is eyeing are those which will be consequential to the state of Andhra Pradesh. So look at the Amravati, Polavaram. In terms of funds, they're heavily staffed because it's a debt-staffed state, and that's why the biggest challenge would be to get as much funds from centre as possible, and that's going to be their priority number one. In fact, Nara Lokesh spoke to us, Chandrababu Naidu's son, TDP MLA from Mangalagiri. He said it's an unconditional support. While that may be the case, but the TDP is certainly expecting or perhaps eyeing ministries like Jal Shakti and in fact rural development, urban development. These are the possible names doing the rounds, but I'm not going to hazard a guess on it. But definitely one thing we can say, one cabinet berth and two MOS portfolios is something that the TDP is eyeing, and front runner seems to be Ram Mohan Naidu.
Definitely. Also, during his press conference, Chandrababu Naidu also talked about how he's actually looking forward to getting finally a capital for the state as well. But we'll continue that discussion. Swastika, stay with us. From Maharashtra, we have Mayuresh joining us on the broadcast as well. Mayuresh, a very good morning to you. We've got the list coming out as far as the sources are concerned. Some big names written in the NCP list. Tell us more that you have received from your sources.
Absolutely, because see, if we see the formula, what getting discussed, that behind every 6 MPs, the one cabinet portfolio will be given. But in case of NCP, right now they are having only 2 MPs. One in Rajya Sabha MP, that is Praful Patel, who is a senior minister and also senior leader, and also another MP is Sunil Tatkare, who have been elected this time again. So it would be interesting to see whether NCP actually gets any cabinet portfolio as per the formula which has been come in the front, that behind 6 MPs, one cabinet portfolio will be given. So it would be interesting to see whether NCP gets any cabinet berth, or whether they have settled down this time on a state minister post.
All right, Mayuresh, please stay with us. Let's go back to Brijmohan. Our conversation was cut short because of the technical glitch. Brijmohan, you were talking about how there's an edge given to Chirag Paswan because, of course, his loyalty towards Prime Minister-elect Narendra Modi, as well as the huge margin that he bagged for himself during this election season. He has actually come out as a hero.
No doubt about it. Chirag has led the party from the front, and he has won 5 out of 5 seats given to him by the NDA. And one more leader we need to talk about, that is Jitan Ram Manjhi. He has been only member from Musahar community, the marginalized community from Bihar. So Jitan Ram Manjhi is one leader which we need to keep in the mind. And if we talk about Bharatiya Janata Party, there are three important names. First, Nityanand Rai. He has been MOS home in the last government. His name is doing the rounds. While if we talk about Rajiv Pratap Rudy, he's one of the senior Rajput leaders who defeated Lalu's daughter from Saran constituency. He's also one of the important names. And one last name I would like to talk about, that is Raj Bhushan Nishad. He is from Nishad community, and we all know that Nishad community has played a very important role in Bihar politics in this election also. And he came out victorious with a good margin from Muzaffarpur. So 4-5 seats are important. Sanjay Jha we talked about, Rajiv Ranjan we talked about, Ramnath Thakur we talked about a lot because he's son of Karpuri Thakur. And for all the social promises that made by the Prime Minister, he would like to take Ramnath Thakur into account.
Right. Brij Mohan, please stay with us. Going back to Aman Sharma. Aman, if we were to talk about how we told our viewers that 12 to 15 possible big seats are going to stay, big ministries are going to stay with the NDA allies. But apart from that, if we were to talk about the crucial MOS as well as the berths, what all is left for the NDA allies and partners that these names are actually in the race for?
Well, the ministries, Sakshi, very, very difficult to hazard who's going to get what. Frankly, nobody has an idea. This is a discussion happening between the top leaders of the NDA allies and the top leadership of the BJP, which is Mr. Rajnath Singh, Mr. JP Nadda and Mr. Amit Shah. So it is very, very difficult to speculate, I think, what will be the ministries. Obviously, what the signals can be seen from Prime Minister said yesterday that the NDA is a very organic alliance, and this is an alliance. He said we need majority to form the government, but there should be a consensus to run the government. So it's very clear that this message which will come from this Council of Ministers exercise will also be that it's a very cohesive unit. Everybody has been taken care of. Nobody's unjust demand, I think, will be met by the BJP. Like somebody was asking for 4 to 5 bursts, that will not be met. It will be a exercise which keeps everybody happy, and also I think very, very important for the BJP to ensure adequate representation to all regions, all castes, women, OBCs, SC and ST. So we'll see that distribution even in the NDA allies camp when the list will come out. Of course, the top ministries, the Raisina Hill ministries, Home Defense, MEA, Finance will remain with the BJP. The ones which are close to Modi 3.0 agenda, like railways, IT, education, law, are also expected to remain with the BJP. The focus, one must remember, of the key allies, the TDP and the JDU, is not on the cabinet post. The priority is not that. The priority is funds and a financial package for their respective states, Andhra Pradesh and Bihar. That is what TDP and JDU have put top on their priority list. So that is why I think that the cabinet formation, the Council of Ministers formation, is going to be a very, very smooth exercise. The initial discussions have already happened yesterday. More discussions are expected today. And now, as all my colleagues were saying, the top names from each parties are already doing the rounds. The BJP would also want to reward those MPs who have performed very well in these elections, who have defeated heavyweights, and also some who come from the certain particular castes and communities is very, very important for the BJP. We will see that being reflected in the Council of Ministers. This time we can expect clarity, Sakshi, in another 24 hours on these names.
Right, Aman, please stay with us. Swastika, coming back to you and trying to understand the picture of Andhra Pradesh, what happens to Pawan Kalyan? Because you also, before elections, had a brief conversation with him. What exactly is he eyeing for?
Unconditional support is the word here, but having said that, Pawan Kalyan definitely is not going to. Pawan Kalyan is definitely is not going to be silent in terms of his demands, because particularly if you look at the state of Andhra Pradesh, 21 MLAs they have won, 100% strike rate, and 2 MPs as well. So Pawan Kalyan definitely is expecting plump post as far as the state portfolio is concerned, and the buzz is that he's going to be the Deputy Chief Minister, but there is no word on it. TDP is also very tight-lipped on what they want to do with Pawan Kalyan's portfolio. But what I am certainly picking up is that Pawan Kalyan will be part of the Naidu state cabinet here, and surely it's going to be one of the key portfolios that will be given to him. If you talk at the central level, different names doing the rounds, but from Jana Sena's side, the front runner is definitely Machilipatnam MP Balashauri, because he's somebody who's been a 3-time MP. He's been with the Congress and then the YSRCP, and then switched camps to join the Jana Sena. His name is also doing the rounds. But the word that I'm picking up via my sources within the Jana Sena is that they've not put any demand as such for the cabinet berths, in fact. But what they're definitely eyeing for is a plump representation in the state government under the leadership of Chandrababu Naidu.
Right, Swastika. Please stay with us. Going back to Harish and talking about the picture being played out in the state of Karnataka. Harish, what happens to Tejasvi Surya, because he's a young politician loved by a lot of them, won with a huge margin of 60.1% votage. And apart from that, Prahlad Joshi also, because Dharwar seat is certainly a crucial one for the state of Karnataka.
Well, the fact that this is a coalition government now and other parties have to be accommodated, unlikely that perhaps Tejasvi Surya will end up with a cabinet berth because of two things. One, there are senior MPs here in the state, and the caste calculation. Both Tejasvi Surya and Mr. Prahlad Joshi come from the Brahmin community. So unlikely that two Brahmins will be there from Karnataka in the cabinet. And also, Prahlad Joshi is someone who successfully carried out the job as Parliamentary and Law Affairs Minister in the previous government. So probably they would continue. Prahlad Joshi is the hope here, at least within the BJP unit. Apart from that, you'll also have to look at the caste calculation here. The BJP can't forget the Lingayats, their traditional voter base. They'll have one of the MPs from the Lingayat community. Will it be B.Y. Vijayendra or will it be Basuraj Bommai? That's something that we'll have to see. At the same time, there is a buzz that there might be a OBC or a SC/ST candidate who will be accommodated in the cabinet from Karnataka, because they do understand that this cluster has backed the Congress strongly in both the Assembly election and even in the Lok Sabha election to a certain extent in the Hyderabad-Karnataka region. So they would want those communities. So you could see somebody like a Govind Kajol or somebody else from the OBC community being accommodated in the cabinet. That's the buzz here. And some of them who perhaps will miss out is question marks are about somebody like Shobha Karanlaje. She was a minister, had to change her constituency, but the fact that now Kumaraswamy will be accommodated, he's a Vokkaliga. Will she get a cabinet berth? That's the question. So as Aman mentioned, a lot of permutations and combinations need to be worked out. Regional representation, caste representation, seniority, perhaps all this will be considered before deciding on the names from Karnataka. But Kumaraswamy is one name that is a sure shot from JDS. For the sheer fact that there's nobody else. There's one more MP from Kolar, Mr. Malesh, but he's a first-time MP. Unlikely that the JDS will give a cabinet berth to a first-time MP.
Right, Harish. Thank you so much to all of my colleagues for walking us through all of those crucial updates emerging from their respective states and putting all that picture into perspective for our viewers. Right now,